Yeah. Well, for me, I'm noticing bigger pods saying, yo, let's clean this up. Like, we got to clean up because the Black Dads Club is coming. And I know it sounds very cocky, but yo, I'm watching, and we going to get the Good Moms, Bad Choices, but I'm watching her say, yo, we've been on this run for 6 years, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because we coming up on year 3. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And technically it's been 3 years because we had 1 year where we didn't know what the hell we was doing. It might have been like 6 months, but it was like, what are we doing? But, I'm hearing her say 6 years. I'm hearing Joe Budden say, yo, I'm 8-9 years into this thing. So the larger podcasts are 8, 9, 10 years in, and it's like, damn, when we get there, we got to be able to make sure our mark is felt. But I'm paying attention. I've seen some of y'all now create podcasts. Y'all are dad YouTubers who review, strollers and shit. And now it's hey, I got a podcast. Let's sit down with some dads. That shit dry as hell.
It is hard to create interesting pod because people. One of the things I love about podcasting is the best pods are authentic pods.
Facts.
So now, when you're authentic, you're opening yourself up to be judged by the public because you're posting it on the internet. And once you can get past that part, especially if you're a male, women, they don't really go in on, like, women don't really go in on women. Women will lie to women. And then men are kind of just like, if we see something that's crazy,
they will if they fat.
I'm going to leave that alone.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
This country do not like fat people. Yeah.
But it's like,
or black people.
Yeah. Or black people. Exactly. But it's like, we're like, the men space is, and this reason why male pods do much, much better is because you get that criticism up front. It's almost like y'all in the comment section, y'all go in on us. Like, y'all are like y'all like a consulting company, man. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all tell us everything that's wrong. We're like, okay, got to straighten this up.
Got to go fix that.
All right. I
buy some more clothes.
Yeah, can't come into the pod sauced up because good Lord, if you flub a word, so it's like, I mean, I enjoy it, and I enjoy being in the black manosphere space. It's not where I intended to be, but it's definitely where we're being pushed to. So yeah, I enjoy it, man.
Hey, well,
big ups to y'all for listening, even if you hate listen. And you know what I love? I love the people that come and they hate it. Like, they'll leave a very, very mean comment, and then of course they're so pissed off that they go and look at the rest of the content, and then they be like, I finding myself agreeing with you. And by the time you post, like, you know what, I'm agreeing with you, I know you don't watch like 6 videos because I know the next video you wanted to disagree. So I know you watched another video and you wanted to disagree. And then you watched another, and then finally you were just like, all right,
gotta say something.
We're not as opposed to one another as I thought we was on the first clip.
Well, since I didn't stroke my ego,
when did that happen?
I was nice to you. I'm a nice guy. But now it's time to piss you off. Hold on. This episode is brought to you by Spring Break Watches. Please check them out. Visit their site. Follow their social medias. Go to a retail store. Get you a watch. Support the brand. Support the movement. I know you heard the tag. It doesn't even matter. I just wanted to shout them out and thank them for sponsoring this podcast episode. And we can't wait to see what happened with you guys and how much y'all grow. Anyway, let's get straight up into the episode. Let's get it.
For sex and comfort, women cheat for attention and understanding. They want someone to understand them. That's why when our women cheat, we hurt more. Because we know if she spread them thighs, she felt him. When we cheat, she may be hurt, but not as much. Because with us, it could be more superficial. She was 5'5", thick in the thigh.
I thought we were done with Umar 2024.
You see that?
I love that.
But when she spread them thighs, you know she had a connection with that man.
All right, this one
which takes me to another point. Emotionally damaged people are always sexually promiscuous.
Is that true?
Is emotionally damaged people always sexually promiscuous? I mean, I don't know, because I mean the whole country is damn near socially promiscuous at this point. So I don't know. I can't really say that emotionally. All of us have something that is wrong with us, right? Everybody has something, right? You know, if you're quick temper, if you fall in love fast, if you're lazy, like all of us have something. Okay. So I can't really say that, you know, broken people are just sexually promiscuous. I think the opposite could also be true, right? Like you could be so hurt that you don't want to be with anybody.
True.
Right? Like, I mean, what do they say? Male virginity rates up to the age of 29 now, guys, it's damn near 30%. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think those guys are like, because I mean, on one hand, you got incel culture, right?
Yeah.
Which I definitely think are broken people, and they're definitely not being sexually promiscuous. So, I mean, Umar, he definitely like to paint with the broad strokes. So
he do.
Hurt people do hurt people. I would agree with that all day, though.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what's funny is he hasn't been saying it lately, and I ain't encouraging y'all to do this, but if you go back, he has his reason on why people are homosexual. And I ain't saying I agree with it, because I don't.
Yeah.
But it starts on this path where he's going, like, hey, you sleeping around because you're emotionally hurt. He really gets into that bag to explain why he believes people are homosexual, which I'm just like, they gonna get, when they find that clip, you are out of here, pal.
Well, I mean, but Umar's already, he's so extreme that, like, when Umar says something, it's almost the same way when Trump says something, right? Like, you know, if Trump says something, we don't really take it serious because he's already so extreme, versus if Obama says something, we're like, oh my God, because he's not extreme. And I think Umar is kind of in that space, like, you know, I could care less what people's sexuality is. I have no idea why this keeps being a thing. But I do think that, you know, like, people are allowed to have preferences of how you act.
And we're not talking about Easter and what y'all did yesterday.
Yeah,
did you see that?
Go ahead.
No, look, I'm willing to fight with any community because I like the, you know, but that yesterday they made it like a trans day or something and I just didn't understand how it happened with Easter. And I don't think it's going to fall on Easter every year, but it fell on it yesterday, on Sunday, which is Easter. And I thought it was interesting. And I also noticed that a lot of people from that community wasn't supporting it. I don't know if it was like a promoted big thing, but it was definitely interesting.
Look, if you are a Christian, Easter should be a big day to you. Right.
Yeah.
If you're not a Christian, you know, you should respect people's big day. Like, this month right now is Ramadan.
Yep.
Right. Ramadan goes through April 11th.
Yep. You
know, I'm not a Muslim, but I'm going to respect their culture. I do not get this thing where if I don't agree with something or if I don't do it, I can disrespect it. It's the most dangerous place to be in the world.
Absolutely.
Don't do that.
I want to welcome everybody to episode. Mike corrected us before the pod started. It is episode 135. Of the Black Dads Club. This is my host. This is the guy who runs the show. This is the guy we don't record till he show up. This is Pastor Mike Will, and we do have church announcements today. So please stick around. I'm Gavin, aka Cope, whatever you want to call me, man. I am here to announce I am officially a married single dad for the next 35-40 days.
Married single dad. You gonna take their terminology? The married single mom terminology.
I'm thinking about like doing a vlog.
Me and one of my good friends kind of got into it over that married single mom thing. Like, she had sent me a clip, and I was like, look, man. I was like, the kids don't ask to be here, right? The kids are voluntold, right? Mm-hmm. We volunteer to have sex during our ovulation window. The kids are voluntold, so it's like, yo, you don't get to complain about being tired.
You know.
You just don't, like, a child is crying for a reason, right? So you're gonna have to acquiesce that demand. So look, I'm not going to go and attack the moms today. I'm not doing that. But what I am saying, I was like, when my son was young, you know, I was up 3 a.m. every morning until it was time for me to go to work in a rocking chair. Like, for a year, I don't think I slept in my bed post 3 o'clock, right? And rocking him, I had to go make bottles, had to change diapers, had to, you know, put them down, put them back to sleep, then hand them off to my wife at the time before I went to work. Then I had to work all day. Yeah. And then when I came home, it wasn't like when I got home, you know, that I could just tag out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to get home and tag back in.
Facts.
And you don't really see fathers complaining or whining about that. And I'm not saying that mothers don't do a lot, but what I'm saying is, like, yo,
they do a lot.
The kids are here because we brought them here. So I do when I do push back a little when I see that, like, oh, it's just so, like, yo, I was tired, right? I was never on social media saying, you know, never mind.
So the reason why I get to be a married single dad is because my wife is going to be across the country for the next 6 weeks. And my son still got to go to daycare. He still got to get fed. He still has to be bathed. You know, it was funny because this past weekend, me and my sister, my father, and my nephew, shout out to Hayden, we all went out to eat, right? And my sister said, I really admire how much your wife works. And I kind of looked at her and she said, no, like not the fact that she actually works, but she likes to work. And so we had that conversation. I said, well, you know what? I made up my mind very early in the game. Before I met her, I'm not taking care of no woman. And I know that might shock some people and it might come off terrible. And I think my dad looked at me kind of like, what you mean by that? And for me, I knew early in the game, I am going to provide. I'm going to take care of X, Y, and Z. I am going to do this. But I don't want you sitting at home, sitting on your ass, watching TV.
What you going to do when the pod blows up, man?
Oh, Karina, I mean, she ain't going to be working in, but
yeah.
But here's the thing. If my wife comes to me and say, yo, y'all making so much money, I don't want to work anymore, then yeah, you do. But you still don't get to sit home and be lazy.
That's right. Put on the payroll.
Guess what you get to do? Yo, every episode, I need you retweeting. You going to be sending this shit out to people. You going to be designing stickers. You going to be checking the SEO on the web. And it's not even that. You know what? I've said this story. One of a young lady who I know, she's still single as hell. And I remember when me and her were talking and it was like, yo, are we going to date? What we going to do? And I remember she was like, yeah, I want my man to go home and work. I want him to go work and I want to run our charity. And I was just like, damn. So what else you going to do? Well, nothing. Right. And I remember I looked at my sister, my dad. I said, I refuse to work as hard as my grandfather worked. I refuse to work as hard as my dad worked. And mind you, I'm looking at my grandfather whose wife raised 3 daughters at home. That's a full-time job. You know what I'm saying? And you know who my grandparents are. Yeah. They were pastors. That's another job.
Yeah. That is definitely a hard job.
Being a first lady is a job. You know what I'm saying? And then I looked at my dad who, you know, my mom raised me and my sister and it was tough. It was no daycare. We was with her all the time, right? Yeah. But it was like, I watched my dad and seen how tired he was and was just like, nah, I'm not gonna put myself in that position. Now, ask my wife what bill she pay. She would tell you she paid 2 bills and they don't go over $200. Well, that depends on how she treat the air that week. She was mad one week, the heat was high. And I told her, I said, babe, you can't fuss at nobody but you.
Nobody but yourself.
But you know, and I looked at it like that. But you know, when I do see married single moms, I do laugh because it's like, you gotta tell me the truth.
There is help there. There is help there. I was just messing with you because I know when you say married single dad, I know that she's off somewhere doing something important. Right? She's not fucking off.
Me. Well, yeah, she's out earning me. So yeah. She told me, she said, you know, if we get 2 more raises she said, if I get 2 more raises and we have another kid, you might have to sit your ass down. She said at the crib. And I said, yeah. I said, because, you know, they're not really going to be focused on pod. And another thing, this is also to piss Mike off. I kind of understand the last time she went out of town, I did understand why these chicks be out here be like, yo, I'm cool with being a single mom.
Why?
Because nobody's there to tell them what to do.
We've already established that the reason why the dating market is the way it is because they could do what they want to do,
bro.
Like we've already established that. But the thing is, you cannot be selfish because there's another life is at stake, or most times
facts.
Multiple lives at stake, and that's the discipline,
bro.
Like the raising the children together. That is the discipline. Yeah, it's absolutely because they get to do what they want to do.
Yeah,
I never deny that.
So, ladies, I understand why y'all want to be single moms, right? You get to put your kid to bed when you want. They eat what you want. When it's time to go eat, you ain't got to ask nobody. When you want to go out, you can go out. You can pass them off. Because I definitely called my mom and dad.
Yeah,
and was
pass
like, yo,
the kid off.
Yeah,
and, and then when they're not married, you know, they can boink whoever they want to boink.
Yep, I couldn't do that. And
I say when they're not married. So I was clear.
Some of them do it when
I was clear.
Some of them do it when they.
I was clear, man.
Okay. Clear. And then and I didn't get a government check, but it would have been cool. I want to give my dad tip of the week. This is a weak ass dad tip. And this episode still is going to be brought to you guys by Spring Break Watches. Shout out to them. Shout out to y'all getting y'all watches on Oprah. Shout out to them watches. I see them everywhere now. Whoever doing y'all ads, please send them my way.
Yeah.
Because them ads be everywhere. Please go to the dentist. I went to the dentist and boy, they gave me a bill at the end and I deserved the bill. And I think I'm about to go ahead and suck it up and pay it. I love when y'all point stuff out, like Mike said, on the internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the dentist, it was fun, man. I went to a new dentist office I wish they ain't pay me to shout him out, so I can't do that.
Yeah. You can't do that.
Nah, especially not when one of our faithful followers is a dentist.
Yeah.
But he didn't even give us his practice name, so we can't even shout you out. Say it. But with that, you know what I'm saying? It was cool going in there and them actually like talking to me about everything. And it's going to be interesting because this Thursday, we're taking Ro to the dentist, dog. It ain't no we, it's me, because
you're a married single dad.
Absolutely. So I cannot wait to see what happens with that. But you'll see, man. What you been up to?
Nothing, man. Working, bro. Working and responding to y'all in the comment section when y'all misunderstand the clip. I hate when the other side of the internet.
You talking about our Candace clip?
Yeah.
The funny thing about Candace is, do I even have that on the board?
Nah, she's not on the board. But we can address it though, since that was the most busiest clip of the week last week. Here's the thing. Here's a few of the things that I can remember Candace Owens saying. She was on a pod where she talked about Barack Obama being gay. Right, those are her words. She was on the Breakfast Club. I went back and rewatched it just to make sure I wasn't off in my assertions. And Charlamagne threw her a softball lob of, you don't really do the whole politics thing, and she's like, no, I don't do the politics thing, but here's why I'm voting for Trump. Right. And I'm just like, man, like at every turn, she reaffirmed everything that we were saying, right? She was like, oh, you shouldn't have rich yourself in office. And Trump left office richer than he went into office. So it's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm not about to, because she quotes a little Thomas Sowell, big ups to, he's actually a Gastonia native in North Carolina, by the way. Out. I'm not, just because she quotes him a little bit, I'm not about to be like, yeah, man, like she's the greatest person in the world. Like, I'm sorry. She spent her time, really bashing the community, running out tropes for the community, for that side of the internet. And the moment she got fired from that side of the internet, what does she do? She goes on the 2 largest black male pods. And I hate that the conversation got taken away from them, which is where we was like, yo, how does she get access to two of the largest black male pods, right? Like there's ladies out there that she could have went and spoke to. She could have went on Joy Reid. You think Joy Reid would not love to have Candace on CNBC? She didn't. She came over to the black men because she knew that we'd take it easy on her, and we did. And and then when that blows up the way it will blow up, we're gonna be like, well, it's because black men got behind her and gave her this lane. And they won't be wrong, but it's like, yo, we're wrong for running behind us in the beginning. Like, she does not deserve access to us yet. Maybe she is different. Maybe she has changed. Maybe she is, here for, positive, productive black brothers, right? But she hasn't shown that in 6 years.
I keep it a buck with y'all. I don't follow Candace, never have, probably never will. I do laugh at some of the stuff she says. Hurricane of Hoes is amazing. Killing Andre, I'm saying her name, Ariana Grande. I love combining y'all first and last names, and thank you for pointing that out on every episode. Y'all do a great job in the comments. One dude pointed out how I say every 30 seconds, and I was ready to fire him up. I clicked on a random video. It was and I just had to went back. I went back to bro and I said, all right, you got it, big dog. You was right. But there you go again. So I don't follow her, right? However, I made it my business. And when Trump first ran, 2020? No,
2016.
2016.
Well, 2015, 2014.
When he got there and he made it in his office, I made it my business to unfollow everybody who I believe was racist. And I had to do that because I personally went to an all-white Christian school where I was the only black boy there. And if you do not know what that means, especially when you go to school on the same exit as NASCAR, let's be clear, it's a lot of racist people. Right. And I'm not saying I went to school with a couple racists. Let me just go ahead and clear that up. So I unfollowed them. Right. So I did a good job. So I have this false sense of reality that I have to go find the racism because it's not on my personal threads. Right. Twitter doesn't even put racism in front of me too much anymore. They put porn only pretty much. But it's just an interesting spot to be in. When we post Candace content, these bigots find their way to our YouTube page. Yeah. And it is amazing.
And and what's funny is they won't do the same for Jason Whitlock, right? So we can assume that there's a fetishization going on there.
Yeah.
So I probably flubbed that, by the way. But she's been fetishized to an extent, right? Because they don't do the same thing for Jason Whitlock. We're gonna talk about him, later on in the day. And again, Candace could have went on the Blaze. She could have went on Jason Whitlock. She chose to go on Joe Budden Network and Breakfast Club, Black Effect, right?
Well, America doesn't like fat people. I told y'all that.
That is by design. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
What happened on what she did is by design, and I really think she's trying to move into just pearly things space and pander to black males. And I hope that we're smart enough to kind of avoid that.
Absolutely. And to all the dudes that's in the comments from the fake accounts,
stop logging to your burner account, man. We're not going to dox you. It is not that serious. It's the internet, bro.
Also,
I am not going to get upset with you over the internet.
Candace ain't gonna fuck you. She is not gonna let you call her nigger girl while you piping her down. I'm gonna throw that out there. I told y'all, I realized that a lot of these dudes got race play kinks.
Yeah, race play is a thing. It's a huge thing. A lot of
not in my relationship.
If you go in the pink pill. Somebody said you was married to a white woman too.
Boy, oh my gosh! Look,
if you go to the pink pill divestor world, yeah, a lot of those are race play.
Somebody definitely, and you saw me back in the comment. Who? I was like, who married to a white girl? I did laugh, but I was like, dang, can't even send this to Karina because she would have got on her YouTube
and she would have responded.
Oh, because she don't play that.
And by the way, marry who you want. Like I'm not Dr. Umar. I'm not one of those people that's like, yo, you can't. No, bro, marry who you want, but marry who respects you, bro.
Yeah, but you ain't got to tear down your own community or anybody else to uplift the person.
Exactly. And I get on bros when bros do that. It's like, if you like the snow bunnies, as they call them,
the bunny hoppers.
Yeah, like you don't have to bash black women to do it. I mean, and vice versa, ladies. If y'all like, what do they call white boys? If you like white guys, I mean, you don't have to bash bros to do it.
I forgot they do got a term for it because I seen a black girl. She brag about her white man every week.
Yeah.
And there is a community of black dudes who only married or talk to white girls, and they hang out only with each other.
I mean, I would imagine so because
they found out Karina was Puerto Rican. They said, "Nah, never mind, bro. Rescinding invitation.
You can't come over here." Yeah, look, love who you want to love, man. But like anytime you make it around a fetish, I'm like, yeah.
One of my favorite clips. It's been going on. It might be a little long, but y'all get it.
So I'm just gonna say this here. I know a lot of people who are not even part of our community would like me to comment on the reasons why I decided to speak my truth to my tribe on Patreon. Well, number one is because I'm a podcaster. Okay. I have chosen to share my life for the last 6 years, shared the ugly parts, the good parts, the uncomfortable parts, the parts of which I'm embarrassed about. And to be honest, this was embarrassing for me. I chose to move forward in something that I knew in my better judgment I shouldn't have. However, that does not negate the fact that this man was disrespectful to me, that he had the audacity to speak to me this way. Whether you believe me or not is not really my problem, because the reason for my sharing was not for you. It was for women. It was for women who have for so long silenced themselves in situations like this and question their better judgment. It's not a crusade. It is not a crusade against this man. However, in order for me to do the work and say that I'm part of the process of lifting the veil and allowing women to heal the wounds of the past at the present, there's a level of vulnerability and honesty that I have agreed to. Now, when you ask me on your show, you are also stepping into that frequency. So you need to come correct. You need to come respectful. Or guess what? I'm a tell. Now,
that's the part I wanted to get to.
I'm a tell.
For those who do not know, and we'll play the response. Good Moms, Bad Choices.
One of our most viral clips.
When
we stitched them. Used to follow. Not sure if they still do.
Who knows, man?
Sometimes I say something and people get mad.
Get us blocked. Photographers don't like me and podcasters don't like Mike. Interesting. And she went to, so the issues is she went on Joe Budden, and Joe Budden went on their podcast. It seemed like a swap.
Yeah. Well, I think that was an old pod.
So that was an old episode.
That was an old episode. Cool. But they were on his episode
last week.
Like 2 weeks ago at the most.
On the 15th. And it's the second.
Something transpired between Joe and Erica. I believe her name was Erica.
So according to her, she was going out. She was going to they always take pictures on their balcony with their guests. And always, whoever the guest is always in the middle beside Joe. Yeah. That's male or female.
Yeah.
And so she said she wasn't for sure where to stand, and she said everybody was joking, blah blah blah. And he said, "Don't mess around and get fucked."
Yeah.
And she said that threw her off, and that's kind of what it was. Now, when me and Mike first discussed this, I told Mike, in full transparency, I said, "Yo, that's fucked up," because he does say that. He said it on podcasts before.
Yeah.
He said it to female guests on the podcast before, and I want to be very clear. He has never said, "Yo, don't fuck around and get fucked." He has made the joke, "I told her such and such," or she has made the joke.
Yeah.
Which gets me to this situation before we get to the nitty-gritty of what really happened, or allegedly what their response was. So I just finished Joe Budden's podcast from Saturday, and they did not talk about it. I'm in the last 2 minutes, and they are talking about they want to, and Joe is like, "No, I'm not giving them," which we know who he's talking about, no space. And this came right after.
Yeah.
So, but they did discuss it on Patreon. But I do want to get to this part of, as men, men have to learn how to navigate with women, and the women that you look at as homegirls.
Yeah. So.
And now this is like the unsafe space. This is the problem. And I said this on Charlotte Axel's post this week. Stop inviting everybody to the damn cookout and then getting mad when they start exposing what goes on to the cookout. Because I have homegirls who I can make sex jokes to, or how they look jokes. None of them is ever going to come out and say I sexually harass them, because that's what it sounds like she's trying to get to.
Yeah. Knock on wood, because it might be a dollar amount, right? Like, and I'm not saying that she's going to sue Joe or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But and there's layers here, and I'm not gonna go into the layers, because part of it is like they think that that she's upset because they didn't promo the pod or whatever. So with that being said, in 2020s forward, I think as men, we got to understand that there's not a lot of safe spaces where you can really have locker room talk.
Facts.
Now, I think a conversation is due on whether or not that's something that's needed, right? Mm-hmm. Like, do men need a space where it's like, yo, can we just kind of just say what we want and it's free, right? Like, we have a group chat. It's about 7 people in that group chat. Mm-hmm. It flies off in there, right? If something got out from that group chat, though, we know that it's one of these 7 people, right?
Facts.
But the fabric of trust would be destroyed, right? Until we find out who it is. Mm-hmm. And then that person would get excluded, and then it'll come back together. Most of us are in different group chats like that where things are popping off.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, like, I guess my point is, outside of what Joe said, what was his mistake here? Like, what was the mistake? Was the mistake inviting on I hate calling them a sexual risque pod, but I don't listen to them as much as I used to, but that seems to be what it is.
Bro, I think his mistake was stop being friendly with all these people. They not your friends, yo.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel bad in saying that. Like, you've met my friend Tequila.
Yeah.
I make certain jokes with her that I cannot make with the mother of your child.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
My homegirl Sierra, she sent in questions. She's mad cool. Me and her have conversations that I cannot have with your sister.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different things. But sometimes you get too comfortable and you start thinking that, yo, and let's be clear, Flip, Imani, Mike don't know all these people, but I do.
I know a little bit. I'm in the Joe Budden pod group on Twitter.
And he is. That is the joke about this, because I'm not in it, but Mike is. And so you got Ice there, you got Ish, 2 people who have known Joe for decades, who really, like, Ish is the light-skinned brother who, I should have called him biracial just to get clicks, but he's not biracial.
I think that's the one that's marrying the non-black woman, right?
Yeah. They got into it about the girl situation that blew up. And so anyway, he gives Joe the most pushback. Ice is team, yo, when it comes to women, I am treading softly. I am not going to be misquoted for any community, right? Parks is always politically correct. You know what I'm saying? And Flip is like how he was there. He gives it up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, and Joe's not there, and Imani's there, and Imani was like, well, no, I had conversations with these ladies, and I'm gonna be clear, and they might be the man in me. I believe these dudes, and the reason why I believe these dudes because I've been a guy who have made jokes and who has it's been taken out of context, and the way they explained it makes sense. Hey, we're on the balcony. You're coming out here. You are twerking. You are being funny. You're trying to, and this is what women have to stop doing. Stop trying to be one of the guys, right? Because when you get one of the guys and at men, you got to stop being so comfortable with these ladies. Start thinking that they one of the guys, they can take the joke.
Yeah.
So when you twerking and I look at you, I can understand why Joe's like, all right, you about to stop shaking your ass. You're going to fuck around and get fucked.
And I
can see it.
And I need more context.
I just think I painted the story.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
You definitely painted the story, but that's not what she's saying, right?
Yeah, because now I got to take out the part of me playing.
She got to take out what she did, right? Mm-hmm. Right? If she did that, right? And one of the things that she did say is, we as men, we don't get to determine how fast or slow they process, their trauma. I don't think this is trauma, but and again, I'm not speaking for her.
Facts.
I'm just saying, I just don't think if you're taking pictures on and no one touches you, I don't think it's traumatic or threatens your life. I don't think it's traumatic. So I think we throw that word out too much. Now, with all that being said, first point you made, I think, as men, we got to stop thinking that all women are our homegirls. Mm-hmm. And two, like, I think this goes back to the biggest part, and a lot of us make this mistake, man. You cannot shit where you eat, bro.
Facts.
Yeah, and look, I get it, right? Because you met your wife at work. Mm-hmm. I've definitely, in working in the call center where that's all you do, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I know it's harder to do than not to do, but one thing that I am adamant on is like, once money's involved, the sex is off the table.
Yeah.
Like the sex is off the table once the money is involved. And I think Joe bringing them on, I think the familiar, him being familiar with them, being on the pod prior. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much they talk. Their pod is very, very flirtatious. Is the way I would see it. So maybe not call it sexual, but it's very flirtatious. I could definitely see Joe making that mistake. But at this point, what could he say, right? Because if he doesn't believe he done anything, but he apologizes because he was like, I made you feel away, that just opens him up to even more criticism, right? Yeah. And if he actually did not do anything and this is just being lobbed, right? Mm-hmm. It's a reach, like Carly Russell, like Brick Lady, like whatever we're forgetting about right now, and it's just it's just being lobbed, then he's actually suffering, right? He's actually the victim. Yeah. So, and,
it's just interesting, dude, because I didn't even get into the whole thing of, hey, I wanted the episode to drop on this date. It didn't. So now I'm upset. So now I share this information.
And I heard that. I'm like, it can't be that petty.
Sometimes I think, bruh, maybe, but I think when you grasping for something and you hot, yeah. Yeah. Because I was listening to the episode when Imani told Joe, Erica mad at you. Now, we didn't know who he was. They didn't say Erica from X, Y, and Z. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry, sis. If I got a Candace Owens interview and I got your interview, I think I know which one I'm dropping first.
Well, I gotta keep clipping the one that's hot. And as we just found out, Candace Owens is trending, right?
She is trending.
She is hot. So it kind of put that back. But to be that upset to then say, well, I feel like you said something that's completely out of the way. I think as men, like, we got to stop shitting where we eat, for one. Yeah. And, I know it's like, we have to be careful with our words. How careful do you have to be? I don't know, because, you can say the sky is blue and somebody's going to be offended. I'm allergic to the color blue. How dare you? So it doesn't matter, but I definitely think that outside of being ultra professional, I don't know how he avoids this. And I get being you're around somebody for a little bit and then you say, all right, we're going to start having locker room talk.
Yeah. And well, for me, it's like, this is the opportunity where you learn that hard lesson of everybody ain't my friend. Yeah. And I found it interesting that he said this last podcast, he's done talking to podcasters, figure this shit out on your own. Because, And it made sense because me and you've been sending these. It made sense because as soon as I got done with the podcast, ironically this morning, which is unusual for me, sis posted this on her story, and I'm like, oh, this is what he talking about.
Yeah.
And because it is one of them things, like I've been there where you talking to a girl and you say something, and mind you, I had to learn this lesson super early because I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
And you have women that are in front of you,
vulnerable,
naked.
Yeah.
Both. Right?
Yeah.
I don't get to say, yo, you got some nice areolas, yo.
Nah.
I don't get. You can't say that.
You can't say that.
I can't say, yo, your camel toe is fat. It's certain shit I just can't make jokes about. Even if I'm joking,
you can't say it, even as a joke because of how that might be processed later down the road.
Bro, I know a photographer right now. I have a mom who showed me, and this nigga used to come on my podcast. She showed me how he was saying sexual things to her pregnant, and she's like, yo, he's lucky. I don't want to ruin him feeding his kids. Yeah. Because I seen the comments. They nasty.
And here's the thing, right? He's lucky now, but 10 years from now, again, right?
She could drop it whenever.
Yeah.
I got him.
However they want to,
talk
process
crazy,
that.
nigga.
And it's like, that, and that's something that I think as men, we got to understand. It's like, we don't get to dictate how they feel once it's said. And of course, there's an imbalance, right? All of us have saw the meme where it's like the young, good looking guy with all the muscles and then the old, fat black guy with the gray hair. Mm-hmm. And they both say, hey, you look nice in that dress. Or I like that. I like the way that dress look. Mm-hmm. And they'll just like compliment, right?
Yeah.
Sexual harassment.
Predator.
So
be careful, fellas.
Be careful, man. Don't. I guess we went through all that to kind of be like, yo, man, just don't poop where you eat, bro. That's
the kids found out that MTV Cribs was fake.
That was hilarious. But you know what? I'm glad it came out because that's what the internet is. Instagram is fake. Instagram is like MTV Cribs for everybody. Facts. And what you see on social media is not real. But the fact that MTV went that far and made people rent houses, like they went. I saw clips from the Yin Yang Twins, bro. And like now it makes so much sense.
It does, make sense,
when you watch it, because they're like, yo, they in the house for the first time,
bro.
Like they were showing like the dude with the like, yo, we got an aquarium here and a boat, bro. I'm just like, yo, it's not their house. Like all of it makes sense now. Red Man episode makes way more sense now.
Yeah, it may. Red Man was the one who let me know that it was fake. Yeah. Because when he got on there, he's like, yo, I told y'all got to come to my real house. And I was like, why would he say that?
Yeah.
I'm like, why do everybody got the same white Bentley outside, right? Why there's no family pictures on anybody's walls, And then of course my dad, who is the biggest hater of all time, he used to love, ruining stuff for me, right? So I remember the first time my dad told me wrestling was fake, and I wanted to cry. And I said, ain't no way. And I haven't watched wrestling since then. But yeah, the kids finding that out is hilarious. I mean, when they found out that Pimp My Ride was fake, that was great as well.
It's almost like social media and television and entertainment in general tends to be fake.
Do I get to do it? Do I get to trash podcasters? Y'all podcast is fake. When y'all stop paying for the views, the likes, the promotion, when the lights is off, how do you deal with yourself?
Yeah.
Cause I'm watching it. I'm watching a lot of podcasts end, dog. Good Moms, Bad Choices. The reason why they're on a hiatus at this moment. They are going to Patreon only until they start their new season. It's gonna be interesting to see what brands, how they feel about that, especially when you're going through this. When you trying to get people to sign up for your Patreon, it is a great way of doing it. Say, hey, we're going to respond to the biggest black podcast only on our Patreon.
I don't understand why y'all don't go to YouTube and just do super chats. I mean, which is what we need to do, to be honest.
Well, you was supposed to work on something this weekend.
I did work on it this weekend. I worked on it a little bit. Coming soon. For our 3rd anniversary.
Look, man, but it's interesting, man. Like when y'all stop doing it, when you can't reach in black culture and just steal. Right?
Yeah, now that's the thing right there.
What happens?
That's the thing.
Like they tore, and I thought it was a great Tiny Desk, but they tore Justin Timberlake up on his Tiny Desk. They said, damn, he ain't even singing. He got the black people even clearly singing for his ass. And we know it. But, you know, and that's no shot at him, even though it was a shot. But it's like one of those things like, what are we doing? Like, are we there? Like, is this, it is fake. A lot of this stuff is fake. I watched some big podcasters go on a dude's podcast and, they got 3,000-4,000 listeners, 3,000 or 4,000 followers. I'm like, damn. We contacted the same people. They ain't respond back. But I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But I know brown bag money when I see it.
You got to pay it. And one of the biggest things that I took from MTV Cribs being fake is a lot of what y'all see on Instagram is fake, man. Like, especially even when I see people that post like inspirational stuff all the time, man, like they life be in shambles, bro. And I be like, it almost hurt my heart now. Because most people aren't really genuine. They're not really feeling what they're talking about. They're trying to fill a void of where they think the clicks and the likes are.
I want to welcome everybody.
So speaking of filling a void for clicks and likes.
Oh, no, you got the victory.
I know I took some week off as the deacon, and I apologize to some of y'all. Hold on. But we are back with the church announcements. I'm super excited. My mom even hit me up last night and said, where are the announcements? I want to welcome everybody to the congregation. Please feel free to donate. $ Black Dads Club. Is that it?
Yeah. $ Black Dads Club.
Please, 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 please. All right, man. Here we go. Mike never knows what I'm about to get to in these.
We forgot to play Ish Response.
Oh, we'll get to that.
All right.
I clip it. Hold on. Let's do this.
Imagine.
Skip a little bit, but I'm going to give you this. Somebody told me one time I don't have to preach it all at the same time. I could cut it like Subway and give you a 6-inch in the morning and a 6-inch at night. That's not my style. I'm going to shove this entire foot long down your throat.
I just wanted to start off to make it light for our church announcements. Some of y'all pastors can't preach.
Oh man, hey, that was actually that was funny. Pause. That's what he should have added. Cause like, come on, bro. Like, is your audience nothing but women? Oh, you know what? We said we don't talk about orientation. So what?
Come on, man. And more pressing church news: Trump is selling $60 Bibles.
Dude, now that he's selling $60 Bibles, at the end of his rallies, he's doing like this somber. He's actually preaching at the end of his rallies. And what's funny is he's doing the black preacher thing. So black preachers, after they get you all hyped up at the end of the service, they bring it down like for like the last 10 minutes, right? And it's somber and it's just, reflection and like that's what Trump is doing. He's like, 4 years ago things was better and yada yada yada. Another point from Candace Owens where she was just like, oh yeah, the economy is better. Okay, so stock market is higher, inflation has dropped, unemployment is lower, and Bitcoin is up. Like, where's the economy better, man? Like, y'all got to just stop letting people say shit. Sorry, I'm still bothered
upset,
from the comments.
Man.
But the whole so
blood pressure.
Trump doing this whole $60 Bible thing is actually a pretty good grift. Now y'all know I love a good grift, right?
Jesus.
And it is because churches can't donate to political campaigns.
They cannot.
But you know what churches do?
Buy Bibles.
They buy Bibles. So by charging $60 a Bible, a church could just say, hey, we're going to order 1,500 Bibles. I don't know if 1,500 times 60 is like maybe 84.
Come on, Ryan, do the math.
But like, that's a donation, right?
It is.
It is a donation. So I do love a good grift. So I'm not going to front of him there, but him selling the Bibles is in plain sight, man. It's amazing to watch. It's amazing to see.
I love you social influencers, and I do want to have a for real conversation on if influencers running to put God in their content is about to be a new trend. But
it is. How did that pop up, man?
Well, it's here from Mike's favorite girl.
Over by the fear that they made up in their own heads.
Hold on, let's do it like this.
A lot of women get screwed over by the fear that they made up in their own heads of, oh, I'm being too harsh. No, you're not. God gave us intuition for a reason. Women that ignore red flags, at some point, you got to really blame yourself Because like I said, God gave us intuition for a reason, and it's to protect ourselves from physical harm, mental harm, emotional harm. And when you ignore that, you have nobody but yourself to blame.
Yeah.
But it don't stop there, because I got, hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Love the response. And I don't know if you're going to get the same response when I did the pre-interview. But I said, you're single now. How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
You have 3 kids.
3 boys, yeah.
And having a single woman with 3 kids. And what are the ages?
My oldest is 13.
Might have to be hot.
My middle is 11. And my youngest will be 10 in May.
And I ask you, do you feel like it's going to be difficult for you to be remarried, being a single woman with 3 kids?
I don't, because I believe that the person that I will have next will be from God. And I believe that when God brings that person into my life, he would have already had his heart prepared for who I am.
I'm pretty sure he'll also be from God, 6 foot, making $200,000 a year. Absolutely, right. And treating your kids as their own. Like, man, fuck out of here. I don't even have the energy today, because I'm not gonna bet. I'm not going to do the whole.
I hate when he do this.
No, because it's like I don't want to be the one that's like always like down on that. Look, you can find whoever you want, man. Black men date women with children all the time. It just this pushing, pedestalizing the stepdad as being the ideal man is just, that's the weird part. Because I promise you, like, no dude that she dates is going to be there for that 13-year-old, that 11-year-old, and that 10-year-old unless that 13-year-old is the number 1 AAU player in the state or the number 1 defensive tackle in the state. If he's that, yes, the men will come and date for the kids. But short of that, right, he understands that it is a hassle. It is extra. It is more. Good friend of mine's, as you know, his stepchild is actually an adult now, and the child's father, biological father, was like, "Hey, I need kiddo passport because I want to take him out," and the mom was just like, "Nah," you know. And but he was like, he cool because he understands. He was just like, nah, like of course dad could take him somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And and the crazy thing about it is, like, the dad, which is married to the mother, to be transparent and fair, took his stepson and his whole family out of the country for a month.
Yeah.
Prior, right? Yeah. But God forbid that the father's like, and it's like, that's what men aren't signing up for, man. It's like, we're not there for the kids, or they're not for the kids. Matter of fact, I see Gavin done did it, and now I got to go down the rabbit hole to read this clip. All right.
What clip is it?
No, the one from Facebook. My son doesn't need a dad, period. And then she goes in the comment section and says, my son's dad is a crackhead and he homeless and sleeps in his car. He can never come around my son. Right? Like, how did you sleep with this dude raw if he's a crackhead and homeless?
Yo.
Like, how?
Yeah, that's wild.
You're not about to turn my kid into him. And then somebody asked her like a similar question, right? I've been new, but that was just for fun, no lifetime commitment.
That is
like
disgusting.
This is like,
what crackheads do to get cracked?
This should be this is the reason why it is hard, a lot of times for anyone to have children, right? Male or female, right? But what you don't see is you do not see men on social media being like, I put a baby in a sex worker outside of 50 cents.
I like it.
Outside of 50 cents that evidently did that, right? You don't see dudes saying like, Drake. Drake never put that shit on Front Street.
Oh, he definitely tried to hide it.
Yeah,
shout out to Pusha T, man.
Yeah, like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't really see that, but it is like, and I think that plays a part why men that have children are able to get remarried a lot quicker sometimes than women that have children. Because like, if you throw it out there like, this dude is terrible, like the guy that you dating is like, hell, how the hell did he get access to you?
Yeah.
And what does that say about me?
And going back to it a little bit earlier, I do see this new trend of social media influencers getting to a certain point and just running to promote God.
Oh, bruh, I wish I knew you had that clip in there, because there was another clip from one of our favorite pods, where he's actually talking to a guy about the same thing, about having being able to come in and basically marry a woman that has a child. And the dude was just like, "Oh, here you go. Hey."
There's a lack of fathers in the household. Do you think that it should be somewhat of a movement for single men to actually date single mothers to help out with that issue?
If a guy is not king conscious, he can't do anything but make the situation for the woman and the child or the children worse. If he's a king conscious man, he's not having conversations about, I don't want you because you got a child. King conscious men understand bigger picture of the community. And he really understands the weight he carries, the responsibility that's on his shoulders, and he understands that fathering transcends biology. I think a young man should make a move towards some beautiful and very eligible women that have kids. But today we hear guys saying, well, they're writing women off because they have a child or two. Well, I don't think that guy is equipped to even manage a family dynamic like that.
Now, the reason why I played that, because it's funny you say that about God, because in that clip, this guy is actually, I'm on his profile right now. I raised royally conscious globally through Jesus Christ. I am a pastor, author, and leader of movements. So it's funny that you say that, because it is trending right now to use the whole God thing to try to entrap people's emotions into making decisions that men are more than qualified, more than able to judge a situation, and allowed to ask questions of, hey, let me make sure that I want to be here.
Bro, I literally watched, and I didn't save it. I was checking to see if I saved it. I really watched a Ace Metaphor video where he talked about ghosting is God's way of taking people out of your life. And he
Panda porn.
He focused on God. And, one of our favorite ex-listeners, she stopped listening. She found God. Oh, I had to press somebody this weekend about us.
Oh, we got to talk about it after the pod.
But it was a woman, and I really didn't press her.
Yeah.
But I did have a conversation with her. Shout out to her. She knows who she is, man. I saw her, but man, you know what? I take that word back, press. But I did see her, and I went up to her. I was like, yo, what's up? And she was like, I don't like that shit y'all saying on the pod.
Well, I mean, I'm sure, because whenever we tell men to take autonomy of themselves and to make decisions based upon what's going to be best for them and their future families, yeah, it leaves out a lot of people that want to be selfish, that wants what's best for them in the moment. Absolutely. I get it. For me, I looked at her and I said, yo, one of the reasons why me and you have multiple conversations, me and her, I said, it's because we don't agree. And I said, who wants to live in a world where we only agree with each other? Exactly.
And I said, at least if you tell me, hey, no, you're wrong, or this is not. I said, because I'm not a woman at the end of the day. So I don't know what y'all go through. I'm guessing or assuming, or I'm doing research. No matter what, it's not a first person experience. I said, so when you come and tell me, hey, this is it from a first person experience, then I get to share that. And she just kind of looked, and I was like, it's cool.
Well, I mean, because most people just want to be upset with the disagreement, right? Like when people come in the comment section, they're just like, forget y'all, your head is big and bald, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you didn't counter the point.
You didn't.
You disagree with me, right? Mm-hmm. You took a shot, but you haven't countered the point, right?
And your girl in my DMs.
So it's like, when Candace like, oh, the economy was better, 4 years ago, right? Well, stock market is higher, Bitcoin is higher. Unemployment is either the same or lower. I haven't looked up in the last few months.
Yeah,
but it's like that's not true, right? You can't just lob it and then be like, well, because I want this to be true, right? Because I want this to be, the point. Then I'm gonna make it the point. You can't do that. I'm sorry.
What's up with Romeo and Juliet, man? You don't like Tom Hollis playing this? Girl, what's her name?
For one, Romeo and Juliet has never been a great story. Ever. Like even when I read it in high school. It was terrible. It was terrible. It's never been good. It's never been done good. It's never been repeated good. Okay. None of the story makes sense to me. They were rich kids. They just as easily could have married other people and kept sitting each other behind their back, because that's what royals do. So the story never made sense to me. What I didn't like about this was Hollywood has this thing where they bait the two sides of the internet that actually love each other. They bait the divestors, and they run the divestors out against white men that are bigots. And them creating this with Tom Holland, and I forget the actress name.
Francesca. I can't pronounce her.
Hollywood keeps doing this because they know the controversy sells. It has to be intentional, right? They saw the response to Little Mermaid, right? It was not a great response, right? I forget the other movie that they had. They saw that Woman King flubbed, right? It barely broke even, right? This is intentional to run Tom Holland, Spider-Man, right? Isn't that Spider-Man? Like one of the biggest rising up and coming stars, and then you pair him with I don't know if she's British or not, but anyway, with a diaspora African, because and he British,
right? I believe he British.
I think he is British.
Yeah.
You know that comment section is going to be trash. And they know it, and they do it on purpose, and I don't like it. I do not like it, because only thing you're bringing out is the bigots and the divestors who's not going to go against the bigots, and then everybody's going to take shots on why aren't black men in the comment section defending this, and we don't even watch Romeo and Juliet in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, Romeo and Juliet a fake story, so...
It is.
You're not gonna
like
get
Shakespeare, there's only one good Shakespeare that I like, and I forget the name.
I don't see myself getting upset about a fake story. I don't see myself caring that it's an interracial couple. Because if, we
don't, but every time that happens, bro, it is a mess online.
It's going to be a mess, but I mean, Little Mermaid was a mess, and I think a lot of people was laughing like, yo, this is a fake story. However, people did run to, is that Haley?
Dude,
black people ran to her defense because they was tearing her up.
Yeah,
for no reason.
They didn't even want Idris Elba, who is actually British, to play James Bond.
Yeah. And then that's the other thing. It was like, well, the conversation did come into why don't we have a black James Bond? And then it was like, well,
you can't have a black James Bond, but they could make it's literally 007. Like, that's the number. You can make a 005, a 006, a whatever.
How you feel about Albie Shore posting on Twitter or Instagram that he wanted his son back?
I don't understand enough about the story to understand why he doesn't have his son.
Well, Quincy is Kim Porter's son, oldest son. And when she got with Diddy moved Quincy in. So he's had Quincy since he was young. And so Quincy grew up with Diddy. Now Quincy is 32.
Yeah.
So, Albie Shore is like, yo, bring your ass back on home, bro. Like, get
dude,
from over there.
He's 32. I mean, I don't think he has to come home. He can be on his own, right?
Yeah, but he had Diddy house. I looked at it and I said, yeah. Now, when I found out that Albie Shore tagged his podcast and some other brand deals in the post, I thought it was tough. But I kind of get what you're saying. Like, I can imagine you losing your son, who looks just like you, by the way.
Yeah.
To Diddy and Kim Porter.
And Diddy didn't even marry her, but Diddy playing stepdaddy. I'm telling y'all, man, like, this be the problem, man, when you have babies out of wedlock and your woman leaves and now she choosing another guy. Like, now you got to fight to see your kid. I wouldn't post it to social media, though.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if my son can come home, I'm reaching out to my son directly.
Yeah, and I'm understanding at 32. And Quincy seems like the most, I'm not going to say the most sane out of all of them, but I've heard him do interviews and him talk about how crazy Hollywood is and how he stay out the way and stuff like that.
Cannot blame him. Hollywood seems like a wild, wild place. And the music industry in general.
And I find it funny, like, Quincy ain't that far gone. I mean, he was in Raising Kanan and 50 Cent over there. So, you know what I'm saying? And 50 Cent been taking shots at Diddy it's been crazy.
Well, I mean, now that you see that, his baby mama was with Diddy, it's kind of personal.
Oh, facts. Speaking of getting personal, welcome to the sports segment. Caitlyn got rid. We saw Angel and Juju go home last night. Let me tell you something. I watched that game.
It's a good night for Middle America.
I watched that game last night. Caitlyn, she bad, yo. She was shooting wherever she pleased.
She's a hooper, man.
For real. She is a hooper.
How tall is she?
I don't know, but she looked like a good 5'8". Angel, I didn't realize how tall Angel was.
Yeah, Angel
looked like a good clean 6'5". Who?
Caitlyn.
Okay, then what? Angel got to be what? 6'6", 6'7"?
No, I think Angel's like 6'3", 6'4".
Bruh, ain't no way. Look, now Angel, she had an interesting interview, and I kind of want to do this, and I know we ain't got that much time.
She's 6'3".
She's 6'3", that's it? Mm-hmm. Damn, she was playing the 4, so I was like, and she looks so much taller than everybody.
Yeah.
Somebody lying about their height.
Probably Caitlyn. Caitlyn's probably 5'10".
Yeah. Yeah. Because I saw Caitlyn get switched up on Angel, and that shit was bad.
She's a hooper, though.
Caitlyn, bro.
She's a hooper. She talks a lot of trash, though, man. I don't like how everybody be like, yo, Caitlyn is just such as good. Caitlyn be talking trash, bro.
She do.
Like,
I don't think nobody ever debate if she talk trash.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm not going to let y'all beat up on Angel when Caitlyn be doing the exact same thing. Like, y'all got to cut that out.
Here's my problem with all that. I'm not trying to talk to, I pop into sports, to women's sports, and I don't really pay it any mind. I don't follow it. I don't keep up with it. Like, I was watching one of my watching a young lady. She been bragging about her school in the Sweet 16, and we in the Elite 8, just to come to find out her school in the NIT. And I was just like, yo, you don't even know what the hell is going on, right? And the reason why I say that is because most people that follow sports, they know how feisty the girls is. They know that the white girls get away with a little bit more than the black girls. But that's why I wanted to have a conversation of like, yo, if Caitlyn was a top 20 prospect, she would nobody would be talking about her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If she was a top 30 prospect, nobody be talking about it. It may be top 10. People will be like, all right, she can hoop. But no, she's the best in the country. Juju, you know what I'm saying? She talks her trash. Angel was talking cash last night. She straight up went up to her coach and said, get me the fucking ball. That shit did not make SportsCenter at all. Why?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think either. I think that's perfectly okay.
So, but I mean, speaking of beating up Angel, I don't think she's coming back to school.
No, Angel's going pro.
She is going pro, but the thing is about going pro is she will make more money at LSU than she will going pro. Now, unfortunately, we're in this situation where Angel is talking about, hey, I'm getting death threats. She said something that I feel like is going to get more into her mental trauma that I think she doesn't want, and I feel bad for her. When she said, I've been sexualized, the last probably 18 hours have been just Angel sexualizing herself or bringing attention to her sexuality. I'm not laughing at her being
sexual. I'm laughing at the fact that the last 18 hours just been all her videos online.
And it's like, damn, I feel bad for her because she said it. She said, I have not been happy since I won the national championship. And then it became this, yo, are you trying to become a victim in your loss? Because if Angel would have, I watched the game yesterday, bro. Caitlyn coaches yanked her ass up when it was like a minute left in the game and she was talking to her family in the crowd.
Yeah.
They was like, the game ain't over. Get over here. She went up, she dapped everybody up, she went off the floor, she went home. Angel wouldn't have been doing that yesterday, which I'm cool with. So I'm not even here to complain about that.
Everybody has their different moves. I look, athletes are athletes. So the only time I look at what an athlete does is honestly just on the field, right? What they do between those lines to me is separate from what they do outside of the lines, right? Tariq Hill is a wild boy, right? But if you say, yo, Mike, between those lines, do you want Tariq Hill to be on the field?
Yeah, facts.
I'm like, yeah, right? Like Marvin Harrison was a wild boy, right? We never saw it because, social media wasn't as big as it was now. But between those lines, that's who he were. Angel, that's on the floor, that's all I want. I don't care about the extra stuff. Now, I'll just say to Angel as a human being, right? Mm-hmm. You can't be a villain and the victim at the same time, right? Nobody feels bad when Batman punches the Joker in the face, right? No one feels bad for the Joker, right?
Yeah.
If Batman get punched in the face, we kind of like, damn, man, Bruce Wayne getting his ass kicked, right? When the Joker getting his ass kicked, nobody cares. It's sort of like, so you don't get to be both. If you decide that you want to be the villain, you don't get to move that bar when things don't go your way. It's sports. Somebody's going to lose. My 49ers can't win a Super Bowl anymore. All right?
Panthers can't get there.
It's sports. It's what happened in pod, right? There's going to be a pod that's better than us. There's going to be pods that are worse than us. It's pod, right?
There's a lot of y'all that's worse.
We don't get to choose where we are, all right? Life is going to kind of decide, what happens next.
And I know this is not a woman's podcast, a female podcast. I do think it's tough to watch them try to find that thin line between like
beach volleyball, track and field, and WNBA.
No, that thin line about being seen versus sexualized.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because like those sports, they have high ratings, right? Okay. You know, and you know, is the high ratings attributed to women being attractive? Like, I think we'd be foolish to sit here and not acknowledge two things, right? Like, you know, having attractive people in whatever sport brings more eyes, right? Like, as you said earlier, right? People don't like fat people, right?
They don't.
So, you know, I think that's part of it. And then, you know, yeah, it helps that Caitlyn can pop a three the way that, you know, Steph Curry can.
Yeah, bro, I was watching. So, all right, let me do two things. Sidebar, I was watching LSU, all the girls shoot like dudes. And I'm talking about pull up. You know, the girls, if you ever watch girls, they kind of push the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Nah, these chicks were shooting over their head like they shooting like dudes. I was like, damn.
Because they've gotten stronger.
Yeah,
you know, they put more, like the basketball that we watch now. This is not Rebecca Lobo UConn Huskies.
Yeah, no, not
basketball,
at all.
Right? This is a whole, like, this era of women's basketball. It is, you know, there are hoopers on the floor now.
Bro, Caitlyn was taking it in between her legs, pulling a string like Kyrie, doing a side step, shooting like Steph, and I was just like, what you gonna do with that? That's why I got 40 points and I ain't scored in the last 6 minutes.
Yeah.
But no, what I was trying to get to was, yo, Angel don't want to be sexualized. But that's that line of like, hey, I don't want to be sexualized. But yes, when I do show y'all me putting on this dress, or no, excuse me, let's not even do that. When I do go get my vag wax and they pull up the wax and it's literally the outline of my vagina, everything from the hole to the lips, you can see every crease. And she's like, yeah, girl, put it up to the camera. Yeah, you don't want to be sexualized, but you're doing that. And there's this thin line of, I got to see the video. The video is fucking crazy.
That sounds wild. Like,
yeah, because you know, they put this shit over your shit. They rip, right?
I mean,
they hold it up.
I've never been waxed.
Well,
I don't know.
I've taken pictures of a lot of wax girls. Okay. And so I've seen actual service not get done, but like, this is how we do it.
How you do it.
But when they held it up, it was clearly a shape of her vagina, right? And no, she don't want to be sexualized, but you do want, so it's kind of like, yo, I want to put up my outline of my vagina on the internet and I don't want nobody to sexualize it. But then if you do post it and nobody sees it, nobody comments, nobody likes it, then you know what you're going to say is, I don't feel seen.
I think we need to go to that though. I think we need to go to the point. And again, this is gonna be super hard, right? Because it's the reason why advertising works, right?
Facts.
Like, it's the reason why it works. Like, like we like being manipulated. We don't like being taken advantage of.
Facts.
Right? So I think
that's the difference.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where like if she gets to control the manipulation, that's different than the internet controlling it. And she feels she's being taken advantage of.
And that's why I brung it up, because I literally, if you click on that video, people are just scrolling every time she sexualized herself. And I'm using air quotes because to her it's
just who she is, right?
This is me getting my NIL money. Yeah. This is me showing my life. And it is like a damn, you know, Amber Rose was caping. Yo, women should be allowed to walk down the street butt ass naked. Absolutely. Should they be sexually assaulted when they walk down the street? Not at all. Should they be harassed? Not at all. But it does get to this weird part of, yo, what would you do if you walked down the street butt naked and nobody noticed you was there? You would feel unseen. And then we have another conversation. And it is that
I think that's a conversation that the ladies need to have, if women could actually have a real conversation, right? Because, you know, again, when they're in the comment section of their, matter of fact, you walked in. We're not gonna end up playing that clip this week. We might end up playing it next week. But there's a British young lady that's in North Carolina, and she was like, one of the things that she loved about being in America, in the South, is seeing how many black men love black women and love having black families, and they have black babies, because evidently in the UK, that's not really what black men do, right? Okay. Now, mind you, most of those black men are in the UK are immigrants, whereas we're more so diaspora. Like, most of us have been, our lineage in this country is 300-400 years, right?
Yeah.
Whereas their lineage in the UK is less than 100 or less than 70 sometimes. But anyway, she was saying that she loved seeing that. She had to turn the comments off.
Yeah, well.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, her making an observation received a visceral reaction. Yeah. Do you think that was a visceral reaction from black men?
No.
No, of course not, right? And it's like, so, you know, what you're saying is absolutely right? That is a conversation where women should have, like, you know, being seen versus, you know, not being seen, right? Mm-hmm. But they have to have that conversation with themselves. I think us as men trying to create logic and reason and saying, like, yo, this is what y'all discuss, I think it just leaves us open to being the magnet for their attack to not have that conversation with one another.
I must just say this quickly. Jamel Hill, if black men didn't feel like you was kicking their backs in, you probably would have more support in what you're going through right now. Jamel Hill did post, you know, she wrote an article saying Caitlin's getting so much credit. Basically, Caitlyn getting the Eminem effect. Hey, you talented, but the eyes are on you because of the color of your skin. Which is not necessarily unfair.
You know, I don't think it's untrue. I think one of the things that we suffer from as African Americans in this country is misunderstanding exactly how many white people exist in this country.
Facts.
I think because we live in these metropolitan areas, you know, for the most part, that in most places that black people live, it's 30-40% African American. Mm-hmm. And then you might have another 15-20%, you know, Hispanic. And then the rest is white people, right? So you feel like you're in a melting pot. Mm-hmm. Middle America is not a melting pot.
Facts.
It is a bowl of milk. Yeah. You know, so I'm like, so I don't think she's wrong, but to your point, right? She done went ham on the bras so much. I mean, hell, we had the conversation last week that Caitlyn, you know, yeah, she is getting by a little bit off of privilege, a lot of bit off of privilege. Yeah. You know, but it also helps that she's a baller. Yeah. But I mean, has there been a better 3-point shooter than Caitlyn in women's sports?
The announcer, the commentator last night, who was a woman who played, I forgot her name, dog. I think she said, yo, this is the best women's shooter I've seen in the last 30 years. Yeah. She was like, I follow this.
Cheryl Miller might have been, but we don't have any footage of Cheryl Miller. You might can find it on YouTube. Yeah. I'm taking, you know, Reggie Miller's word on that. Yeah. You know, of how great a shooter that, you know, his sister was. But yeah, like she's a baller, right? Absolutely. Like if you want to take a shot, like don't take a shot at the person that's the best shooter in women's sports.
Absolutely. What's up with Whitlock and Don Staley, man?
I don't know, but I wish Candace Owens would go on Jason Whitlock's show and they just leave us alone. Jason Whitlock, for him to sit there and be like, yo, what's LSU coach name? Malarkey. Yeah. And he was like, yo, she's a 4-time national champion. Like, yo, you really talking like Don Staley ain't bringing chips home by the busload. Like, how many is Don up to now? Is she at 3? Or hold on,
it might be like 2 or 3 in the last 5 years.
I think this year might be 3. Let's see here. Don Staley championship. Like Jason Whitlock, chill out, bro. Chill out, man.
His exact quote was Kim Mulkey, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, is in it for the long haul. She has been against the left her entire career. She got 4 national titles. Who's the women's coach that they parade around and treat as the greatest? Don, because she fits the profile.
She got 2 championships this year. If they win, and they should win, it'll be a 3rd championship. And Dawn is going to be around for another 20 years, man.
Yeah, I think
like she's going to go down as the greatest women's. I mean, would I say she's the greatest women coach yet? No, that's probably still Gino. Yeah. You know, Pat Summitt is probably still ahead of her. Mm-hmm. But Dawn Staley more than likely is going to be the greatest women's basketball coach of all time. Like.
Jason Whitlock, you got to relax. 1, they never going to let you get your shit off because you're fat. 2.
Yeah, Dunn's 53. She got 20 years of basketball left ahead of her.
Bro.
It's probably 4 more titles.
You know what? If she wants to.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. Like, yeah. But we know what Whitlock doing, man. Yo, you shoot at somebody hoping that people come over there, but unfortunately, nobody cares.
Well, I think even Middle America that was pulling for Iowa and UConn last night recognized how great Dawn Staley is. Yeah. And that becomes the problem, right? It's like, eventually you could transcend, almost the hate, right? Like eventually just like, you know what? You're way better than, like Jackie Robinson. Damn, you can play baseball. Hank Aaron. Damn, you can play baseball, right? So eventually you can transcend it. And I think Dawn is doing that in Middle America when it comes to women's athletics. So yeah, Whitlock, wrong target, dude.
And nobody cares.
Easier target than that.
Look, I will say this. If you got Netflix, watch The Worst Roommate Ever doc. It is hilarious, scary, and wild. It's a story, I believe, about four different people. It's 5 episodes. One of them is a part 1 and 2, but it's about these people who basically went on Craigslist and got roommates. And these people were, bro, I'm talking about these roommates were wild.
That is insane. Actually, last time I had roommates, I got roommates off Craigslist. Actually, one of my best set of roommates.
But you stayed strapped.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
And I'm not a bad. I wasn't a bad roommate. So that was decades ago. Did my 20s, but yeah.
One of the roommates, she was an old woman. She dressed up as like a 70-year-old. She was actually 50, and she was killing tenants and burying them in her backyard so she could keep getting a Social Security check. But she was giving money to politicians. She was going to church. She was like an old church lady. So nobody believed her. So when this lady called and was like, yo, where is my uncle, whoever she was like, oh, I took your uncle to visit my family in Mexico. He wanted to stay. And she was like, what the hell? We never gave you permission to do X, Y, and Z. Come to find out, bro was in her backyard, chopped up, and she was still getting the Social Security, dog.
So is she in jail?
Yeah,
Okay.
bro.
Right.
I think she got 3 life sentences. It was a white man on the jury who believed her because he was a church God-fearing man, and he said he didn't believe that she killed the other 6. So that's why she didn't.
Wow, she was a serial killer.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
That's what they were saying. They was like, yo, this bitch is a serial killer.
A serial killer.
Yeah, bro. She was like giving niggas tea and they'll die. And then she was burying them in the back. It was crazy because they showed it, bro. They was showing them digging up her yard.
That is insane.
Y'all go watch it because it's amazing. It made me realize.
Gav keep a good crazy doc in his pocket, boy.
Yeah, my sister. Brittany would send me a doc and be like, you gotta watch it. And I'm like, yo, you are crazy. What you got planned this weekend?
I don't know, man. I'm probably gonna try to get some golf in Thursday or Friday. That's all I really got.
You gonna check on me this weekend and make sure I'm still sane?
Yeah, man. You got some free time this weekend? I'm be kid free.
No, I got a kid.
Oh, you married single dad. I forgot.
Yo, y'all see that? See, they do not care. Yeah, this week is gonna be interesting. When y'all look at this podcast in 2 weeks and I look sleepy, just know why. But yeah, man. But I'll be cool, man. All right, then, man. I ain't got no last minute things we need to get out the way. I think we got everything, man.
I appreciate all y'all listening. Appreciate the numbers. Share this with a friend. Keep leaving the comments, even if I don't like them. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man. With that, we're gonna holler at y'all next time.
Holler at your boy.